Good morning, everybody. This is To The Point with Tanya Tyler on Outdoor Trail Magazine. Today we're talking with someone you might not know, but you soon will because he's been on fire lately. In the last 2 years, he has won almost $100,000 fishing as a co-angler, yes, in the back of the boat, with back-to-back wins on the FLW Western Series to go with an Angler of the Year title. 21-year-old phenomenon, Justin Lucas. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
I always hear, if I'm going to fish a tournament, I don't want to fish in the back of the boat. But you're putting that myth to rest. Let's talk about this. You've been very successful in the back of the boat. What advice do you have for someone who is just wanting to start off fishing, maybe as a co-angler?
Well, it's a great way to learn, and it's probably the fastest way to learn. You're getting to fish with these guys that have been fishing their whole lives, and put so much time on the water, and it's going to help you cut down that time that you would have to put on the water if you were fishing out of the front of the boat. And I'm getting up there quick, and there's still a ton to learn. Obviously, every day is a new day, and you learn every day.
James from Washington was in the Tri-Cities when you won in September and wants to know how you were able to catch those big bags being in the back of the boat.
Actually, before going up there, I did a little bit of research, and I noticed that every tournament in the fall at the Columbia River Bassmasters prior to the FLW that was up there, everybody had done well either drop shotting or Carolina rigging, and everything was green pumpkin. Everything was green pumpkin. Every time I heard anything about how somebody did good, it was green pumpkin this, green pumpkin that, And I was just dragging Carolina rig the whole time, and I varied my weight size depending on current and everything. But I used the new Berkeley 100% full carbon tungsten weight, and there's normally quite a bit of current, and I used a shorter leader. That way my bait wasn't getting pushed around too much. I wanted to be in contact with the bait. I used, like a quarter to a half ounce in barrel weight, about only a foot leader. And a lot of guys weren't doing like a 2-foot leader and stuff, but I really think that foot leader was what made the key difference for me.
So you're doing some research before you jump onto that unknown water. Very smart. Justin Lucas on the phone. The number one question I get is, how do I get sponsors? You have some huge names: Pure Fishing, Berkeley, Lucky Craft, National Guard. How did these deals come about, especially since you're a co-angler?
That's the nice thing about fishing FLW is that they're giving co-anglers an opportunity now that was never presented to us before, never available to us before. You can start fishing as a co-angler, and you can really start your career as a co-angler now. Co-angler team deals now, and Berkeley's got a co-angler team. National Guard, which I'm on, has a co-angler team. There's all these companies that are starting to get into the co-angler side and finding these people that are going to be the future of the sport. So the biggest thing is you have to put yourself in that situation. You have to be fishing those FLW events where they're going to see you and they're going to recognize you. And as you perform, they're going to notice. There's people out there watching every tournament. As you're doing well or you're progressively getting better, they're going to see that.
Would you say that you did some hustling to get some of these sponsors, or did you let them just purely come to you?
I let them come to me because I figured that, there was a lot of talking. I'd meet people and I'd say, hey, kind of whenever you're ready to sponsor me, just joke around with them. And I really didn't think much of it. As I started doing better, they kind of were like, well, let's get serious now, are you really interested in something? And I try to align myself with these big companies, that you could be with for a long time, Lucky Craft and Pure Fishing and the National Guard. These are huge companies that I'm going to hopefully be able to stay with for a long time and keep that loyalty there forever,
On the phone, National Guard co-angler Justin Lucas. One of the most frustrating situations for co-anglers. Your pro is fishing parallel to a bank with the boat positioned very close to the shore, and he's fishing fast. What is your go-to bait?
Ooh, that is the toughest condition for a co-angler. And normally, if I'm in that position, I'm either going to be throwing up ahead of the boat on the opposite side that the pro is fishing. Say you're going into a slough and you start on the right-hand side, and you're going down that bank pretty fast, and he's, doing his deal parallel on it. Well, I'll either be throwing to his left side, way out, making sure that I'm not getting in his way at all, or I'll try and drag a heavy Carolina rig or something like that behind the boat. Or if we're flipping or something, you can put on a heavier weight and flip real fast behind him if he's throwing some sort of power bait. You got to be in that situation and kind of get a feel for it. Every condition can be different. So if you're in a slough or if you're in a creek, there's all sorts of different cover and everything that you're going to make what you choose to throw different. Normally a heavier bait works better because you can get to the bottom faster and, you can fish it fast while he's fishing fast.
Yeah, I told you it's a tough situation, but you've proved that it can be done. Now, for the past 2 years, you've been a co-angler that's been on fire. What are your plans for 2008?
It's kind of my year that I'm going to start fishing as a pro. I'm going to go ahead and do the Western Strand Series as a pro this next year to start getting my feet wet. And then I'm also going to do the National Guards, the Western Series as a co-angler again. I think I'm going to learn a lot next year because I'm going to fish 4 tournaments out of the front and get a feel for that. But I'm also still going to be doing the 4 other ones out of the back.
Remember his name, Justin Lucas. You're going to see it a lot in the future. Justin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Appreciate it.
To the Point with Tanya Tyler on Outdoor Trail Magazine. Happy fishing.